Okay, we'll see how that comes out. Okay, I basically look the same as I'm gonna look for the next couple of videos, and I have 20% left on this battery. So let's go ahead and do September stuff. I only read like not that much, not enough to talk about. So the month of September was pretty crazy, as I knew that it likely would be. If you haven't heard me mention it before, we are doing e-learning for our kids, and it just started like September 1st. And it's been a pretty big learning curve. Not terrible, it's actually going really well, just a learning curve, and keeps me really busy. And just kind of figuring out a new normal to do every single day, which is pretty much how this entire year has been. I just feel like I keep going from one routine, getting used to it, to having to rearrange our entire life to create a new routine, and then something else happens, and then we have a different change and a different routine and a different schedule. And yeah, it's a good thing. I actually really like planning. Gives me actually a reason to replan and reschedule everything. Anyways, so the reason for this video, September I have read barely even anything worth mentioning. I have read Mexican Gothic, which I gave 5 stars. I read this book for the Dark Academics Book Club. I think that if you're looking for a spooky book for Halloween, this is a really good choice, but trigger warnings if you don't like anything super gory. There's not a lot of gore, there's just enough, but it's really ishy. I have created a speed build of the Doyle mansion though from this book, and there is spoilers in it though, but I give you forewarning when I get to the spoilery section, but I will leave it linked below. You can check that out. Of course, at the time that I'm filming this, I just filmed a voiceover. I don't know which video is going to go up first. So anyways, I talk about this book a lot more of my in-depth feelings about this book in that video. So after this book, I was having a really terrible time finding a book that I was really interested in. I was just in like the worst reading slump I've ever been in, and I was so frustrated. I just really wanted to read something. Nothing was capture and catching squished together is capturing. I'm making new words now. Nothing was catching my attention. I finally did finish another book though on the 27th. I read it in like 2 days, and that is Fallen by Lauren Kate. This is an older YA fantasy, and it's technically a reread. I listened to this on audiobook like ages ago, but in this past year I discovered the movie and I fell in love with the movie. It's just so atmospheric and like just the kind of like moody vibes that I really like, and I really like the actress who plays Luce. I really liked her better than I liked the book Luce. Book Luce was a bit cringy because she was like stalkery and clingy at times, and I knew it was justified. I knew where this book was going, and so I kept going through it. I think if I didn't know, I would just have DNF'd it. I already knew why she was acting like that, so it helped a lot to get through those moments when I was like, oh my god, Luce, come on. He's such a dick. Don't do it. Don't talk to him. Let him come to you. And then like, there was that moment where it was like, it made no sense when the flip happened, so it was very like insta-love. Again, it's kind of justified, but it wasn't a great book. I was just dying to read it though because I love the movie so much, and the movie puts me in so much of a mood that I just wanted to relive that, and I just wanted that mood in a book. Unfortunately, this didn't give it to me. However, it still was a good choice to get me out of that reading slump because I was familiar with the story. This is actually a decent sized book at 450 pages. Sometimes they look smaller than they actually are, but it was still an easy, quick read. Oh, I didn't even tell you guys what this book is about. Look at me. Basically, it's fallen angel story, and it's this epic, tragic, cursed love story. I think I was really craving an angsty love story. I think I wanted a little bit more in that department because it just came too easy that they were just like, okay, it's fine, like we'll figure this out. There's a lot of lead up to it though, and discovering the story, but I would have liked a little bit more of that, like, well, we can't be together, I love you but we can't be together kind of thing. Not necessarily, but I think I wanted a little bit more in that department, and I'm still in the market for something like that, but just a little less cringe. If such a beast exists, I'm sure it does. I don't find Twilight cringy, so you know. So less cringe, but more love story. that just makes you ache for it, like Twilight. So please feel free to throw down some suggestions because I am at a complete loss. I also picked up Debutantes and Daggers, and I didn't realize that this $3 book that claims that it's like Buffy was A, 2 books in one, Rebel Belle and Miss Mayhem. B, that the first book, Rebel Belle, was on my most anticipated new releases list, one of my lists. And C, that there was a sequel, Miss Mayhem. So I got it home and then I was super excited about this. And it had me for a while, but then I kind of started feeling like maybe it's a waste of my time and not really hitting the marks for those expectations. But I have read so much of it so far, like I'm over halfway through the first book. And it is an easy read. So I think I'm still gonna try to finish it, but at this moment I'm putting it down. So knowing myself, I might not end up picking it up unless I just kind of just want to read something and don't know what to read. Sometimes those are the only times I go back to some of these other books that I kind of lost interest on. But I'm super bummed because it's supposed to be like Buffy-esque, and I can definitely feel like some Buffy vibes with her calling and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, maybe it's just like the main character's voice or something. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It's just missing something. Maybe it's missing like character development. Like maybe it's just way too surface level and not enough funny moments. And there's like this weird thing going with this guy, and I don't know. I'm bored. So anyways, I also finally finished Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I ended up caving and I checked out the last 2 in audiobook. And I am so relieved that I did. That book was killing me. So I'm just so happy for it to be off my plate so that I can move on. I swear it is that book that put me into a reading slump. I know it. Because every time I thought, oh, I should read something, or I kind of want to read something, or I'm ready for something new, I'm like, fuck, I still have to finish that book for my project. Anyways, I will be taking a break from the Shadowhunter universe unless my hold on the next Eldest Scrolls, is it Eldest Scrolls? The Magnus and Alex spin-off series, the second book in that series just came out and I put it on hold for audiobook. But it's an audiobook, so unless that book comes in, then I'll read that one. Other than that, I'm taking a break. I'm going to read What I Want completely, which I usually always do, but sometimes I do prioritize other things for other projects I was working on, like Shadowhunters. I mean, I wanted to read the whole series, like I really wanted to, but I think that if I wasn't doing like this project, then I probably would have DNF'd that book. And I probably wouldn't be like reading all the spin-off series. I probably would have stuck to like the core books. So that one, I guess I'm reading things like that I wouldn't necessarily read if I wasn't doing that project. I am super excited for October. Big fun plans, so many readathons. And I will fill you in on that later. I will be doing an October TBR video. I know I don't do TBR videos. I feel like it's way too much pressure and I never stick to them and then I feel guilty. Long story, but I am going to be doing an October TBR video. And there will be, I think at this time, I have 4 readathons that I plan on taking part in. So other things that I have started, this makes this 3 books I've started and haven't finished yet. 3 books at a time right now. That doesn't even count an audiobook I just started, and I have 2 ebooks. I have an ebook on my phone and an ebook on my iPad that I started. Anyways, we're not gonna talk about those. I also started Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children and The Beast, House of Leaves. These 2 books, however, will be part of my TBR for next month. So I gotta hurry this up. My phone's gonna die, or my tablet is gonna die. I love how Kat, as Stars and Embers, does this. She does like a special video where she just talks about all of the TV shows and movies that she's been watching, and I really like that. I feel like we get to see another side of the creator and get to meet her, know her for other things that she likes than just books, you know? And then we can kind of gush over those things. Although I don't really watch a lot of the TV shows she does, but we are both huge Buffy fans, so I always get excited when she's watched a new Buffy episode or whatever. So it's kind of cool because, you know, unless you talk about other things, you might not know someone is also a Buffy fan. Yeah? Okay. So I decided that this was probably a perfect time to go ahead and share some other things that I have been watching and doing, because this reading, I didn't have a whole lot to say about the reading part of it. So I literally have abandoned a couple of TV shows that I was watching One being Once Upon a Time. I do watch that with my husband, and when he gets home from work, we're probably going to start that again. I forgot to tell you. I totally forgot to tell you. Sidetracking. I hate when I do this, but I meant to say it at the beginning because it's a little bit of a life wrap-up update as well. Anyways, my husband got his job back before coronavirus and stuff like that. A lot of people had lost their jobs, and my husband was one of them. So then he was off work for a while, got another job, and he just got his job back. So that is really exciting. Not that his job that he got here is just the job that he got here. He was home every night, and then he'd have a commute to work. So it was kind of weird though, because now he's back in the oil fields, and he works 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off again. Some people are like, oh, that's so hard. And while it is, it's weird that we actually have more time with him than when he works a 9-to-5 job locally. He's really excited. He missed all of his work buddies and stuff like that too. We started watching Once Upon a Time when he was home during quarantine and all that stuff. And we watched like 4 seasons of it. I think we're in the middle of the 4th season, and I don't know how many seasons there are. I kind of abandoned it just because, I don't know, I just wanted to do more reading, and I don't know, I just kind of wasn't into it anymore. But I'm not over it. I still want to know what happens. And Smallville, I binge watched so much. I got all the way to season 9, and then I don't know what. Oh, I do know what. I know what happened. Started watching Gilmore Girls, and now I don't want to watch it. If I'm going to watch TV, I'm watching Gilmore Girls. And that's been my TV show lately. But I do want to go back and just finish the last season, just because I like to just finish things. I hate things undone. So it's kind of bugging me. But right now, I'm just so hooked on Gilmore Girls. It's like one of the best shows ever. One of them. I'm in season 5 right now of Gilmore Girls though, and I'm super excited about the new love interest at Yale. Okay, what is the deal? If you watch the show, what is the deal with everyone loving Jess? Okay, I know he's like the book nerd, and like he matches her with his interest in like reading and stuff. That's what she loved about him so much. He was more interesting, but God, he was such an ass. I'm so glad she's not with him anymore. I really don't like what happened with Paris and her thing, because I was kind of really liking her because she seemed to kind of be softening up a little bit, and I kind of feel like it kind of totally changed her. It doesn't seem like Paris kind of. It seems like maybe it would be her for like a week, and then she'd be like, okay, screw you, I don't want to see your face again. Like, that's more Paris to me. And then the whole art table thing, I thought that was going to be part of some like little thing, and then she was going to go back to being the Paris that we all love. I don't know, I like Paris. I think she's crazy, but I like her. Oh no, 10%. We can do this, I gotta hurry up. Oh, something I was noticing while I'm watching Gilmore Girls is there are some instances in this show, and being older, it does some like really sexist things, which in the show it was meant to be like funny and joke, and like we used to be able to joke about things like that, and just be like, man, they're being awful. But they were doing like some seriously sexist things that new shows just never would do. It's just really quite funny, and I find it really interesting to see the difference. It's kind of like there was that time where like everyone used to smoke and everything in TV shows, and now like you will not catch a single character smoking unless they are like seriously evil guy smoking. Only evil people smoke. Yeah. So it's just really interesting to see what used to be socially acceptable on TV, Anyways, video games. I have been playing Zelda Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch. It is like the best game ever. I love my Nintendo Switch, but I have kind of taken a break from it because I've really gotten into The Sims 4 a lot. I have a newfound mission of remaking an entire new save file. What that means is that, at least in The Sims 4, if you don't play it, maybe if you do play it. So in The Sims 4, when you like say you create a sim and you move them into a house and you save it, but when you open that save file, all of the worlds and the neighborhoods from all your expansion packs are in that save file. So basically you go to each world and you remake every single lot. However you decide you want to do it. I know Little Simsy is basically doing giving all the Sims like makeovers and renovating all their houses and then like adding some new builds. I actually have 2 save files. One of them is the ultimate fandom save file with all of my favorite fandoms. And I do plan on sharing it with you slowly. For example, one of the videos I'm just working on editing, I did a speed build of something from a book that's going to be in my save file. So I kind of want to do some more of those and add them into it and then bring it all together. And then my other save file is just for myself. Like I have my own sim and my own sim house in there. And then I might have like my crazy cat. Like I don't know why I always have to have like the crazy cat lady. Like maybe sometimes she's a witch or sometimes she's something else. But she's a person with like tons of cats and lives in like a little cute cottage. And like I always have a crazy cat lady in all of the neighborhoods that I build. And like there's some of those like I want to make, but that's going to be completely different. And that save file is also for other things that I want to practice building, or there's these challenges that go around. I only know about these because I've been watching Little Simsies build. So they have these challenges where they build like a shell and basically they just make the outside of the house and they make it all crazy. Like they don't really put any thought of like we have to put a house in here. Basically the exterior of the walls, you cannot change. You can add walls for your layouts on the inside and stuff like that. And then you can add things to the walls, but you cannot like delete or change the exterior walls. You put whatever roof you want on it and all that stuff. So things like that are gonna go in my other save file. That's about it. So that's my wrap up of all things, not just books. I've read 2 books this month. I don't know how many pages. Probably, let's see, not too bad, because technically I also finished reading the short story collection. That was probably at least 100 pages, 300 pages, so 400 pages. Under 1,000 pages, so like maybe around 700 pages, I would rough estimate. Anyways, well, thank you so much for watching. Bye.